In a statement Monday, President Biden shared his stance on the recent Wagner uprising in Russia. By emphasizing that the US and NATO were not involved, Biden made it clear that proving this fact was his top priority. Throughout the weekend, Biden kept up to date on the situation through hour-by-hour briefings and virtual meetings with key allies. As we assess the consequences of the events of the weekend, the U.S. continues to support Ukraine, according to Vice President Harris. She stressed the importance of not giving Putin a reason to blame the West or NATO, noting that they made it clear they were not involved. Biden revealed that Western leaders agreed with his reasoning and that the conflict was contained within Russian territory. President Biden spoke with President Zelensky of Ukraine and promised to stay in touch with him throughout the day. Biden made it clear that the United States will provide unwavering support for Ukraine's defense, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, even amid potential turmoil in Russia. On Monday, President Biden acknowledged for the first time the Wagner Group's rebellion against the regime of Russian President Vladimir Putin, stressing that it is imperative that the United States and NATO distance themselves from the turmoil. On Monday, ahead of his speech at an Investing in America promotional event, Biden stressed that the United States was not involved in the Wagner Group's rebellion against Russia. This aligns with the sentiments expressed by Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who made a similar statement over the weekend. Vice President Kamala Harris was also present at the event. The warlord, leader of Wagner's group, spoke of his march against injustice and his peaceful approach to the Kremlin, despite the fact that one of his camps was hit by missiles and helicopters from Russian forces. He explained that his group only acted in self-defense after receiving a direct missile attack a few days earlier. In a recording, he noted that his actions were a masterclass in what the invasion of February 24, 2022, should have been like, avoiding unnecessary violence. The warlord regretted having to attack Russian planes to protect himself, but ultimately, his priority was to avoid harming Russian soldiers. Yevgeny Prigozhin, Wagner's boss, later issued a statement expressing his remorse for the conflict with Russian forces. In the city of Rostov-on-Don, it was shown how vulnerable the Russian state is to an invasion from outside, and Prigozhin most likely put a shot to his head in the near future for the execution of the rebellion, and for the attempted coup against the Russian president. The squadrons of the Wagner Group were seen entering the city, supported by tanks, and by the harangues of the Russian inhabitants of the area. On Monday, according to Reuters, Prigozhin said the goal of the march was to protect Wagner from being devastated by attacks by Russian forces. Prigozhin's location was unknown until Tuesday, but a statement from Belarusian dictator Alexander Lukashenko said Wagner's boss was already in Belarus. Prigozhin would not have offered any comment revealing details about where he would be heading on Saturday after negotiations took place between his mercenaries and the Belarusians, who were said to have halted his advance on Moscow. The Kremlin reportedly forged a pact granting Prigozhin and his crew immunity if they moved to Belarus.